I'm interested about the move. Have you had like you found your like this place is amazing.
Thank you.
But the move here, because last time I was on, we were talking. It's been 3 years, and that was right before you moved. You said,
yeah.
And I don't know. I love whenever I moved here. It was amazing. Like the food, fucking just blew
Food's
me
incredible.
away. Like
the people are so cool. It's just great being out of LA.
Yeah.
LA. Look, there's a lot of cool people in LA. I loved it. I lived there for a long time, but it's so tense. There's so many people, and I don't think people are supposed to live that jammed up like that. I just don't think it's good for you. I mean, maybe it's different for other people. Maybe they like that feeling. I have friends that live in New York City. They fucking love the beep beep. Fuck you. They love it. They love it. They love that crime is up. These people are maniacs. They feel like they're real. They feel like it's dangerous. They're out there in the street.
Sure.
But me, I like to relax.
Me too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like I being on tour too, and being in the hotels, like, and going to, because I lived in LA for like 5 years, but being on tour and being in the hotels, like, and like New York and Boston, and it is so noisy. And then you go back to Utah and you're like, oh my
chirp chirp,
God, it's
chirp,
crazy.
Chirp.
It's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's like it's night and day, and you never really, if you live in those like environments, you never really notice it.
Yeah.
You never really notice like a helicopter going by every 30 seconds or whatever.
Right.
But then you're out in Utah and you're like, oh my God, this is so much quieter.
I think there's just I think people give off something that probably we can't put on a scale, but there's like an energy that people give off. That's one of the reasons why people like crowds. I think people, when they're around a bunch of other people, they give off a kind of energy.
Right.
And when there's too much of that, like a place like LA or New York in particular, because New York is just jammed. Everybody's stacked on top of each other. I think there's this buzz that's like always there that some people really enjoy.
It scares me. It's an anxious feeling for me.
Yes.
Like whenever I was out there, I had my baby, and my doctor was out there. So whenever her mom was, towards the end of her pregnancy, and we were like, okay, we're getting ready. We had the baby in LA, and so like we were there so we could see the doctor, and she can go into labor or whatever at any minute. So we were there for a couple months and stuff, and I would go outside at night and I'm like, oh my God, like it felt like impending doom for some reason. Helicopters fucking, and there's just noise. And I'm like, it was so thick. Yeah. And I was like, where is it all coming from? Like, I don't know. It's such an anxious feeling for me to go outside, and I'm like, it's so, like, it sounded like, I know it didn't happen, and I don't know what this sounds like, but just like, it felt like the aliens could invade at any time, like it was just chaos. Like I was like, oh, I know something's coming, man. It's scary, but know.
Well, I think there's a thing that happens when there's too many people, where people don't interact with each other too.
Sure.
Which feels weird, because then you feel like all these people that you're running into, like their potential problems or their potential threats or their potential annoyances. Like, let me get away from these people.
Sure.
And it's just, that's not how it is when there's a few people.
Right.
Like when you're walking down the street in a small town and you see somebody, like, what's up, dude?
No
How you
shit,
doing,
there's
man?
a person there.
Yeah,
what's up,
hey person.
Yeah, what's up?
Hi other person. It's just when it's thousands of them and they're all around you, nobody talks to anybody.
Yeah.
Like, you don't strike up a casual conversation when you're in a crowded line filled with people walking down the street.
Right.
People don't talk.
Everybody's got their own shit to do. And it's so weird. Like, you look at, like, even 100 years ago, like, people would sit down, like, on a bench and just be like, what's up? Like, how are you? Like, have like conversations.
Yeah.
And I don't remember exactly where I was, but I think I was in New York doing something, and there was a guy. I was doing like a show, and we were in this building, and there was like a smoking area outside, and there was this guy playing chess with himself. Wow. And my buddy goes up and he's like, hey, can I play chess with you? And it's like, yeah, and that's just like how shit would have gone like 100 years ago. But now it's just like, I don't want to talk to anybody. Like, it's so fucking weird, man. It's just like we don't have like that interaction because we got so much shit to do.
Everybody got kind of hoodwinked into this idea that the key to a successful life is working more than you should.
Sure.
you know, and that's the way. It is kind of the way to get ahead. I mean, it is a competition, and there are people out there that are going to hustle harder than you. But if you're not enjoying yourself, if you don't balance it out with enjoying yourself, you're going to have a shitty existence. And the whole point is to have a good existence, have a fun existence.
Sure.
It's not just about success, but everybody's so driven to just get ahead that it's hard for them to separate those two and realize there's a balance. Like, you can't drink Coca-Cola all day.
Right.
You know, there's a balance.
Right.
You drink it occasionally. And that balance, you can achieve it. But it's very hard to when you got your eyes on the prize. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, and that's finding that balance is the hardest part.
Yes.
I mean, I'm by no means the most talented person or anything like that, but I did work really hard, and auto-tune fucking saved my ass. Once again, shout out. But I mean, work hard and get auto-tune, but not too hard. But that's it. You want to, like, taking the time and, like, having this baby was so cool, man. Like, it is so cool to be a dad, and you're like, oh
wild,
man,
right?
this is what I was, like, missing out. Like, this is a magical thing.
Yeah, there's a bunch of my friends that don't ever want kids. And I'm like, dude, I get it, but you're missing something. You don't have to. You don't have to. And I do not like that pressure that people put on people, especially once they have kids.
Well, it's mostly grandparent or, like, your grandma or something. It's like, when are you gonna have a baby?
But there's also a bunch of people that want you to stop being like Peter Pan. They want you to settle down.
Never stop being like Peter Pan. Ever. I don't remember who I was talking to, but I was like, the goal of life is to be a kid forever.
For sure.
I mean, and now with, like, everything that we have in place right now, it's almost impossible.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible, but that's the goal. The goal is to have as much money as you need to never have to worry about it.
Yes.
So you can actually go and live life as a fucking kid and just eat fucking chicken nuggets and fucking go run around in the desert and go eat worms and shit. Well, I don't do that.
But have fun.
Exactly.
Yeah, have fun. And people, when they are serious about something, especially like we were talking about, people have their eyes on the prize, and they're trying to get ahead, it's hard for them to disconnect and have fun. My wife taught me how to do it. I really used to have a hard time with it. I used to have a hard time with vacations because I always felt like I was missing work, like stuff I should be doing.
Right.
But it's just a mindset that I learned how to, like, slide into. And I learned how to chill at the end of the days, too. I never used to know how to chill at the end of the day.